Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, the show for visionary coaches, healers, wellness pros, and small business owners who aren't just here to host another feel-good getaway, but to build a profitable, impactful retreat business. I'm your host, Shannon Jamail, retreat strategist, business mentor, and owner of a 46-acre retreat center. I've hosted over 100 retreats around the world, and I've made every mistake so you don't have to. Each week, we'll dive into the mindset, marketing, money, business, and mechanics behind sold-out, profitable retreats. Plus, hear from expert guests who are walking the talk. Whether you're planning your first retreat or scaling your 100th, you're in the right place. Welcome to the show. Hey guys, welcome back to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. It's Shannon, and I have a fabulous guest today that I am so excited to introduce to you guys. Before I do that, though, I'm asking for a big favor. I feel like a broken record when I do this, but you guys have no idea what it means to me for you guys to leave a review, follow the podcast, subscribe, and leave a review. I swear I read every single one personally. And if you're on Spotify, I respond to you if you leave comments. And so if you wouldn't mind pausing and doing that for me, I would love that. All right. Our amazing guest today is Miss Catherine Kontos. Welcome, Catherine. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your podcast today. I'm excited to talk to you.
Me too. Why don't you first just start off by telling everyone about you, who you are, and what brought you to where you're at today?
Sure. The name of the company is called Retreat Boss. I'm Catherine Kontos. I'm the founder of Retreat Boss. We've been around for about almost 14 years right now. We've evolved throughout the years, survived a pandemic, like so many
Amen
of
to that.
us, right? It was the worst business to be in the world at the time. You're like, no group gatherings and no traveling. Great. What do I do, right? So, but we survived it like some did, and whoever actually worked through that made so much money. But anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. So we are also a publishing and media company. We have Retreat Boss Magazine, the podcast as well, and Retreat Match. We match venues with professionals internationally. It's a global company, and very proud to be leading a team and the community around it.
I love this. We're going to dive into so many things, but I'm going to digress with you for a moment because my whole business was retreats. You know, now I have a venue and I teach others how to host retreats. But at the time that COVID happened, I was doing very little consulting or business work. It was mostly still just hosting my own retreats. And I was doing about 8 to 10 a year, Catherine. When the whole world shut down, I was like, okay, so I'm immediately unemployed, like completely. All of my events are like, and at first it was like they're in limbo. Are they going to happen? Are they not? Yeah, I feel you so much. It was definitely one of those times that we learned how to pivot like never before. I did some online stuff, you figure some stuff out. And then as soon as there was even the tiniest of windows, I took advantage of it. So yeah, it was girl. I don't want to
Yeah.
relive that shit ever. Thank you very much. But also, I think it created a strength in us and a resourcefulness in us, if you will, that we probably would not have developed if we hadn't gone through something like that. And I think anybody who's gone through some massive, massive disruption, whether it's that which was world driven or whether it's in their own personal life, I think of people who went through the Great Depression or the wars, including the one we're in now. Like when you go through these massive disruptions, there's so much pain and suffering, but there's also so much opportunity to learn from it and grow from it. And so I don't wish it away. I would wish that people didn't have to die. Please be clear on that. But I don't wish the experience away as far as what I learned and got from it. So
Yeah, and being an entrepreneur, pivoting is a key element to being a great entrepreneur because challenges will always happen. And in life too, right? Not only
yeah,
entrepreneurs. So someone who knows how to pivot when a challenge is there is someone who is a problem solver and who sees like opportunity
yeah,
or, understands that change happens and it doesn't, it might create a bit of like uncertainty or insecurity in you, but
yeah,
you still go through with it because you know that,
yeah.
there has to be another way. It's not only the way that you've been used to. So, great
Ooh, that's
talent to
good.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. It kind of leads me into a little bit of what I want to talk about today, and it's more along the lines of where retreat leaders are missing the mark or they're making mistakes. They're just, maybe they're thinking of the one way, right, Catherine? And an example is, and I really want to dig into this a little bit, is venue sourcing. I see so many times online people saying, I booked an Airbnb and my whole body cringes. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
stop booking Airbnbs, right? I've said that so many times on my podcast where I could go into it, but I've done it before again and again, and I'd love to hear your take on it. They're not designed for business. It's actually illegal in many, many cases to host your retreat or your event at an Airbnb or
Mhm.
VRBO or any kind of vacation booking platform.
Yeah.
And so not only is it one illegal, it's not at all designed for what you are trying to accomplish. At any moment, they could cancel on you, which is one of the posts I just saw recently. And there's no resource for you. It's just canceled.
Mm.
And so anyway, I could go on and on, but I'd love to hear your take, especially because you've got your platform. And tell us
Yeah.
your take, and then tell us about your platform.
So I have acquired and sold over 100 properties, including venues, retreat venues. And so I became very well versed in understanding the tricks, the secrets, and all that, plus the reservation platform and all of that. And when you book, like you said, via an Airbnb, besides, the legalities and all of that stuff, they cancel on you. You got to think it's not about you going on vacation. They cancel on you. Okay, you'll figure it out. It's easy to find another two-person place or four-person place. Okay. But you are legally bound to getting the venue that you promised to 30,
Yes.
40, 100 people, whatever it is. It wouldn't be on Airbnb
Yeah.
that big, but like, let's say 15 people, right? So
Yeah.
you have to understand that you're putting yourself in a possibly compromising position. And you got to think of your business as a business, not as
Mhm.
a vacation that you're putting together.
Yeah.
And so if you do find something on Airbnb, because there are some companies that will promote themselves there, do book directly with the company because the
Yes.
policies on Airbnb do not work for you in this case. You
They
don't
don't
want a
work for you.
cancellation.
Yeah, they don't work for you, and the insurance doesn't work either. So we obviously have our venue, Retreat Ranch, is listed on Airbnb, and that's for non-retreats, right? So if you are, say, hosting a micro wedding or a family reunion or a bachelorette party, that's probably only 5% of our business, but it's 5% of our business. However, we do get people who will contact us directly and say, I found you on Airbnb and
Hmm.
XYZ. The reason that's important is because, just like Catherine said, if you book my ranch on Airbnb and then you try to do a business, your insurance is not going to it's not going to work. I mean, if you try to
Right.
do an insurance claim or there's something that goes wrong, like you're going to be so in trouble legally.
Yeah.
And Airbnb at any moment could cancel me for no reason, by the way. Then it does happen. They could say, you know what, we're not working with you. Somebody did a complaint, could be a false complaint, it could be whatever. It could be, who knows, a glitch in the system. Airbnb shuts me off and
Right.
cancels that person's reservation. Right? I mean, it happens. And so, yeah, there's so many blocks there. So, anyway, sorry, I can digress when it comes to this. It's really something I'm passionate about. So,
Yeah.
please continue.
Yeah, and also the other thing you need to look at when dealing with any venue or any other business is the contracts. People don't read them. They just look at like, okay, the price is good. And this is in general, everybody and everything. This is what they do. They just look at the price and a few things that might interest them, like where is it going to cost them? And they sign away. They don't look at the details. And they don't
Yeah.
look at what even worse is they don't look at what's missing. That it'll completely go over your head because it's not
Yeah.
there for you to see to correct.
Yeah.
So you've got to know what needs to be in a contract and what doesn't need to be in a contract. And if you have someone, any business that says, oh, I don't have a contract or email is fine, like that's our contract, that's a big red flag. They're not running their business properly, and you shouldn't be doing business with somebody who doesn't know how to run their own business because now you're depending your business on their business, knowledge
Yeah.
and ethics and all that. So I would stray away from any venue that doesn't have a good contract. Don't be afraid of contracts. They're there. It means they know what they're talking about. They know how to protect themselves. Everything's negotiable, by the way. Not too
Yep.
much when it's a very big hotel, like, but when it's a smaller venue, you can negotiate some things on the contract and say, you know what, I need to know that I'm going to get my refund in 30 days if you decide to cancel on me. Sometimes they just
Yeah.
eliminate that. I've seen it and I've corrected it. And I told
Yeah.
the client, don't sign this. It doesn't tell you when you're getting your money back in case there's a cancellation. They
Yeah.
could never give it to you. Like it could take
Yeah. It could
five
be a
years,
year
10 years.
later. Yeah.
It
It
could be
could be whenever.
whenever, right? So there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that are missing that we're not aware of. So the best thing to do is either become extremely knowledgeable through a coach, a lawyer, anything like that. So you're not completely blindsided, when something does happen and you're like, well, I didn't know that. Actually, you did, but you
Yeah.
didn't, you didn't, take notice of it. It was there.
Yeah.
It was there.
Yeah. And let's be honest, from the venue side, I can tell you our contracts are long. And it's unfortunate. That's just the nature of the beast when you're in any kind of business like this. And if you are one of those people, and trust me, we have a lot of them, unfortunately, that you don't read it, that is to me one of the biggest mistakes that you can make as you are creating a relationship with a venue is to just sign. And I'm saying that from the venue side, where I want you obviously
Mhm.
to sign. I want you to sign and to host your retreat there. But you've got to pay attention to what's on there because I don't like it as a venue when someone comes back to me going, "Oh, I didn't know," whatever it is. And it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, well, it's highlighted actually in the contract. It's yellow highlighted in the contract, and it's also reiterated here, here, and here." So yeah, it's as simple as just really paying attention and taking that information, like you said, Catherine, and going to an expert like Catherine, or at minimum a lawyer who is familiar though with so
Right.
the thing about the lawyer is they've got to be familiar with the law of where that venue is as well as your business. So if you're doing a retreat like I'm doing one in France, I actually hired someone from there and here to look at the contract for both my company that's based in the US and for them that's based there in France. And so you can't just willy-nilly this because it can really bite you in the ass. If something happens to my venue in France, you're right. I sold 16 people on a specific castle with a specific room that has specific amenities. I don't get to just turn around and say, we're
Yeah,
going to
it's not
move it.
happening. Yeah. Right, right. And that creates a lot of disappointment and it opens you up to liability. So, do the
Absolutely.
safe thing. Go by the rules. This is important. Don't think you're going to
Yeah.
bypass because you got a few $100s off. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Well, you know what's interesting is actually, Catherine, if you go to my Airbnb listing, and I highly recommend anyone to do this, it's actually more expensive to book my ranch on Airbnb than if you book it directly. And that's not because I'm trying to shortchange Airbnb. It's because I price it special for retreats, for retreat leaders. For corporate and everywhere else, it's a different price. But for retreat leaders, it's priced for a small business owner so that they can actually turn it around and make a profit. And so you don't always save a buck by going to Airbnb or to VRBO or somewhere else. And anyway, I think we've beat it up enough. Go directly to the source when at all possible, or go to something like your platform. Tell us about your platform and why we should be looking at your platform.
Well, if anybody's looking for venues, they can come to retreatboss.com. And what we do is we only work with valued, preferred venues. We do not take on venues that we don't feel are ready, are retreat ready, period. We vet them quite a bit to the point where some venues get turned off and they're like, that's way too many questions. And other ones will understand and appreciate it. And they're like, you know what? We know that you know what you're talking about because most agents, because there's travel agents, event planners, there's all kinds of
Sure.
people, right, that book venues. They don't ask a lot of questions. They just are doing it for their client. They book with us and they don't ask like the questions that they should be asking.
Yeah.
And the client comes to the venue, and then all of a sudden the client's like not happy because maybe they don't have something that they required. And
Yeah.
it's not the venue's fault. It's the mediator in between, whoever that was, right? Or the
Yeah.
facilitator, right? So it's their fault because they did not get the information needed to make sure that that client is happy. So then you have, like I said, those venues that appreciate the fact that I'm asking the million questions, whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
because they know that whatever client I bring them will have all the information needed to make sure that that is the right venue, and the likeliness is that they'll be happier, right? And they'll be happy because all of that was eliminated for them. So that's very, very important to really understand everything you need to know about the venue and do actually show up and look at it too, right? Because what you see online isn't necessarily what you're going to get.
Amen. Hallelujah. Please go
Yeah.
tour. Please go tour. please go tour.
The vibe is everything, by the
The
way.
vibe is everything. The opportunity to meet any on-site staff, if the location has on-site staff, that's important. To truly feel what it feels like to be in that space is everything. At our venue, we probably have 50% who see it and 50% who just book online. Thank goodness we have 100% five-star reviews on Google, and everybody who shows up loves it. But can you imagine, Catherine, if somebody shows up to our venue, which is very nature forward. There's free ranging horses. It's a working ranch, and they're like, oh shit, I was expecting the Ritz. And so,
Yeah,
you need
right.
to show up and you need to see that space. So I couldn't agree more. I have a question for the venue side, for those venues. Like, for instance, I have my friend Jade. Congratulations, Jade, who just bought a working ranch in Colorado and she wants to turn it into a retreat venue. What does it mean to be retreat ready for a venue? Like, what should they be thinking about and doing and planning for if they want to be listed on your site?
First of all, what equipment they have, how it's set up, like architecturally, right? Like, can they even offer a retreat that would work, right? So physically, what do they have around them? I used to certify venues for the star rating from the hotels, the
Yeah.
hotelier.
Hmm.
So, there's certain things that you have to have in order to get the next star and the next star and the next star, right? Like, do you have enough? It sounds ridiculous. Enough spoons and forks for like
No, it
15
doesn't sound
people, right?
ridiculous. I
Right?
get that. You have to have enough wine glasses and including a couple that
Yeah.
might break.
Yeah. So number one is the architecture. Like, does it work physically? Second is the equipment and all the details to the equipment, right? Like the little things really, really count. Do you have fitness equipment if that's where you're planning? Like, what kind of retreat are you going to be focused on? You can't please everybody. Okay,
No.
so focus on who your niche is. If it's going to be wellness, business, whatever, corporate, and really hone in on what their needs are. So make sure you're ready for what their needs are. That means you have to do some market research or hire somebody who will tell you what is needed for
Hmm.
that type of venue.
Hmm.
Next is your staff trained for this? So this is another thing we help with, getting the staff trained to have the right program in place, because there's a program that the venue offers, and then there's some don't. Some really don't. Okay, but there's like a base program that the venue offers, and then the facilitators can come in and place in their program, right? So do they have that in place? Do they have something minimum to make, if the easier you make the planner or the host's life, the more likely they will sign up with you at your venue. So let's
Hmm.
take away as much friction as possible and get you at 80% occupancy rate, which is what I had across myself and my competitors who became my clients as well. I was able to fill up my venue and the ones next door.
I
It was
love it.
fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you want. You want everybody to be happy in your neighborhood, right? Because they're gonna see the next door neighbor. They're gonna say, oh, I like that venue. Maybe I'll go to that one next time or whatever. So let's get you
Hmm.
at 80% capacity throughout the entire year, and you'll be happy. So these are the little things that you need to know, and the little details that you place into your venue, whether it's through service, which usually is the big one, right? But also the details of the little things that you offer, and even support before and after, to keep that community and momentum going for them to refer people to you. So there's a lot of things that you could do to scale your business as a venue and make more money and keep it full.
So my guess then is, if somebody as a venue, especially those who are brand new, like my friend Jade or anybody else who might be listening who's thinking they want to run retreats, is it a coaching package or a program that you offer in order to help them get ready? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so it's we designate them as retreat ready. Okay, so how do they get that? It is through a coaching program, through a training program, I would say more, right? Through a training program, either for them directly as owners, depending on how big the place is, or their staff. Okay,
Hmm.
and then we can even create a program for them, an experience design for them, that will cover the base, and then people can come in and add their program.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
like
Okay.
a plug and play.
That is amazing. So you're not only reducing friction for the retreat leader, but for the venue owner as well. Because I think more and more people are getting into this space, which Catherine, you and I have seen a lot of changes over the last 14 to 15 years in this space. And I'm loving it. I am loving that there are so many people getting in and not just hosting retreats, but actually building or opening or transitioning venues, right? So this one that my friend bought, it was just a working dude ranch, and now she's going to turn it into more of an event and retreat space. And so a combination of bringing nature and animals into the retreat world. So I love the more the merrier, but it's also a lot of people that are floundering, that are getting into this space and they're just kind of sinking. And sometimes it's because they just want to do it all themselves. And sometimes it's just because they have their head in the sand. Who knows what it could be? But I'm watching a lot of people make a lot of very expensive mistakes. What are some of the other mistakes or things that you're seeing that's happening either from the venue side or from the retreat leader side?
From what happens with a lot of venues, especially someone who just bought one, and they don't realize how much work is behind there. Okay. And how
Mm-hmm.
much, right? So they buy a venue because it's beautiful, it's exciting, it's by the beach, it's whatever, in a tropical place, but whatever, especially when you're going away from your country and now you're dealing with new laws, you're dealing with, whatever, the government there, the risk, all of that stuff. Now you own a venue and you're like, oh, I have to manage this place, right? Depending on how much funding you have, right? But let's say you're funding it,
Yeah.
and then there's the staff that you have to deal with, right? So there's a lot of work behind the venues, what we see, right? So
Yeah.
the responsibility is huge. You have the biggest liability from everybody. The retreat leader, he cancels, they lose a couple of $1,000 maybe. But the
Mm-hmm.
venue, it's an ongoing thing. Maybe they have a mortgage, they have staff to pay and keep, right? Staff isn't always necessarily seamless, right? Someone doesn't show up, you might end up having to clean your venue yourself.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I did at one point. I had
Mm-hmm.
nobody show up.
Oh,
I'm like,
listen, we have
oh
some
my God.
tight turnarounds sometimes that is like, if I can't get enough cleaners to my venue, me and my kids and my husband, we're all like, shit, hurry up, let's grab a broom. So yeah,
Exactly,
I hear you.
right? So the pain point is really much bigger for a venue owner than it is for a retreat leader. So they have to, when they decide to go into buying property, they have to know what's involved in all that. It's not just a pretty place somewhere. There's a lot of work behind it. And if you don't have a strategy and a business plan behind it, it's not going to be the happiest place on earth for you. It's going to be a lot of work and you're going to be sad. So make sure you're prepared. You have a business plan. You have a strategy on how you're going to run this venue.
Yeah.
So that's my advice on the venue side. As far as retreat leaders is get trained or work with somebody who is trained or has many years experience. And I'll tell you, even the people with many years experience, they could scale their business so much more than what they are. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things when you don't know, you just don't know, right?
Right.
Learn from the best, whoever that is, and price, cost it out, whatever it is, and figure out how to make more money. If you're making 50,000, learn how to make 100. If you're making 100, learn how to make 200, right? Let's try and double whatever you're making. But get coaching, get training, get whatever you need to do. This is a business. It's not just a fun thing to do because it was a fun retreat you went to last time. You really need to understand that it's a business. It's no longer just a passion project.
Yeah, so she's obviously speaking my language. Everyone knows that I talk about whether or not you have a business or an expensive hobby. So I love this so much, Catherine. Thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge. And everything that she mentioned will be in the show notes, her website. Please go check it out. It sounds like she's got some amazing coaching programs. I know for a fact that her magazine is amazing. I saw it last May for the first time when I was in France with Aaron's retreat, and Aaron gifted everybody a copy of the magazine. It's absolutely stunning. And so please check that out as well. So, Catherine, thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. If you love this episode, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your retreat besties. Want more support? Grab free resources at theretreatleadersplaybook.com. Until next time, lead boldly, serve deeply, and retreat profitably.